Hello again, YouTube. It's me, Tina, and I'm here once again to share with you a book I wrote. This is the second book I've written, and hopefully I'll write more in my lifetime. And unlike my last video, which was on my book Unlikely Righteousness, this one is a completely different tone. I tried a different genre, and I chose a humor book. And I've called it Awesomely Awkward Dating Tips for Beginners. And that was inspired by actually my story with my husband. We've been married 9 months today, and when people often ask us, well, how did you get together? What was your dating experience like? We can only come up with saying it was awesomely awkward because neither of us knew what we were doing. We're both awkward people. And so we were joking about it one day and I was like, you know what? I should write down some of our stories. And then when I told other people that I was writing a book on awkward dating moments, I got quite a few volunteers to share their stories of how they either ended up with their current partner or just experiences they've had in the past. One guy just randomly we met and he told me a story from his dating experience. So that was kind of cool because we've all had them. And so I did collect 38 of these stories and I've assembled them in the book. It's available at the link below on Amazon.com and also at Amazon.ca in both Kindle as well as in print format, just like my other book. And similar to my other book, I have decided that I'm going to use this as a way to help fundraise for this time the Canadian Cancer Foundation. Cancer runs in my family. I've had several relatives who have had it, and I actually have my dad suffering with it right now. And so I want to be able to help give back to that so that we can overcome this horrible disease which destroys people's lives. And so when I was collecting these stories, I didn't just want to share the story. What I also wanted to do was to categorize the story. So I created what I call the awkwardness scale. And this one is not a scale like a 1 to 10 thing where, oh, that was really awkward. They deserve an 8. This person deserves a 5. Instead, I divided it into 4 main categories. And they're based off of the reason why the person could have been awkward in that particular dating relationship. So sometimes there's overlap between categories because I honestly don't know what the primary reason could have been. So the first level is uninitiated awkwardness. And this is for all of us who've started the dating world. You don't know what you're doing. Like a toddler learning to walk, you're stumbling, you're mumbling, you're blushing. It's cute to other people, it's embarrassing to you, but it's also very endearing because whether you're the object of the person's affection or you're trying to win somebody over or just watching this happen, you see how much they value the other person because of how much they're willing to continue despite their discomfort. On the other side of the scale, you have number 2, which is what I call rusty awkwardness. And this was actually inspired by someone I know who had been married, and 3 years later, after his divorce, he had to start dating again, and unfortunately was very bad at it because he hadn't dated following the aftermath of his divorce, so he was very awkward and is naturally shy and introverted, so that led to awkwardness as well. And so rusty awkwardness, not only after divorce, but if you get out of prison, you might have just had a spouse die. You may have been married for decades in some cases. It's been a while since you were last a dater, and so you've lost your suave Casanova, like, or whatever the female equivalent is, your skill set, and you need to learn how to walk again, essentially. It's similar to getting a cast off in that you knew how to walk. You were probably a very good walker until whatever foot landed you in the cast, but now you have to relearn how to walk. So in this case, you have to relearn how to date. The third one is what I call social awkwardness. And what I mean by that is these people may be very skilled daters, but when social awkwardness happens, it's because they keep missing each other either due to cultural differences, language barriers, different hobbies, different ages. There's a variety of different reasons why this can happen. And so it's not that they're not interesting people. It's not that they're not skilled people. It's just that what you just said went over my head. I didn't have a clue what you just said. I didn't have a clue why you just did what you did. Maybe normal to you, but it's not normal to me. And so it creates an awkward moment where I'm trying to figure out what to do next. And I consider this to be actually one of the best levels of awkwardness because it can be very enriching to people. You can learn new hobbies, you can develop new skills, you can find out that you like certain foods that you've never tried before. You can learn about art, you can learn about architecture. It depends on the interests of the other person, but you can both teach each other, and that is the basis of any relationship, whether it's dating or just friends. You want to learn from each other, you want to support each other. So I think that this is the best one to be if you are an awkward dater. And then the last one is one that I don't think anybody should ever aspire to, because having dealt with these people, trust me, you don't want to be them. And this is the creepy or arrogant awkward. And I have known a couple people who fit into this category, and when you look at them, you can understand pretty quickly why they're still single or they aren't very successful at their relationships. And I've said in the book, and I'm going to repeat it here on the internet, that my advice is twofold for this one. For if you are this level, if you've been told by other people or you've just figured it out that you are a creepy or arrogant, awkward dater, please switch to one of the other levels. The uninitiated, rusty, or socially awkward, they are fine, they're interesting. Please turn to that. If, however, you have no desire to change, my response to people who meet this person is run. It's very obvious they don't want to get rid of this level of awkwardness, they'll haunt you. Trust me. If they're determined enough, they will haunt you. And so, what some of the highlights of the book are decorating tips. You can also find out why it's not a good idea to eat ants on the first date. I know somebody who decided that it was a good idea to show the girl he was interested in his x-rays of his broken ankle at a grocery store. They did get married, so I guess it works for some people, but I wouldn't recommend it for the general public. I know somebody who decided to have their first kiss on their first date in front of the CTV camera. So just things like that. And also one other thing that is important is to know where not to tell hard of hearing grandparents that you are now engaged. So you're gonna have to read the book to find out where that place is and how that one turned out. So as I said, I am going to be donating $1 from every book sold to the Canadian Cancer Foundation. My goal is $100,000 to be able to donate to this incredible organization. And so if you know anybody who might benefit from this book, or you just want to chuckle, please click on the links below, and let's work together to help rid the world of the devastating consequences of cancer. So have a great day, and I look forward to showing you that check when I'm able to donate it to that foundation. Take care. Bye.